The Lion and the Elephant. In the jungle, the lion was king. Splendid and magnificent, he would roam around knowing he had been chosen out of all the other animals to be king of the beasts. Fearless and courageous, he ruled the animal world and everyone was in awe of him. Well, almost everyone. There was one animal who was not at all in awe of the lion and didn't care one bit whether he pleased him or not. That animal was a rooster, and he loved to crow all morning. His crowing was so loud that it would wake up all the other animals, and none hated his crowing more than the lion. In fact, for some reason, even the lion himself did not understand. He even began to feel fearful of the time in the morning when the rooster would make his horrible noise. On one particular morning, the sun came up and the rooster began to crow as usual. "Cock-a-doodle-doo!" he went. "Cock-a-doodle-doo!" The sound was so shrill and loud it upset the lion. Sitting up, he put his paws over his ears. "Go away!" the lion cried. "Go away!" The rooster had no intention of going away at all. "Cock-a-doodle-doo!" he crowed again. "Wake up! It's a beautiful day!" The lion groaned. "Why is it," he asked himself, "that I, the mighty king of the beasts, am afraid of a harmless rooster? It ought to be the other way around. The rooster should be afraid of me." With that, the lion let out a blood-curdling roar. The rooster turned his head to one side and listened. "Pooh!" he said to himself. "If Mr. Big and Mighty Lion thinks he's going to scare me off like that, he's got another thing coming." Then the sly rooster lifted his head, opened his beak wide, and cock-a-doodle-dooed even louder than the lion's roar. The lion shuddered at the sound and felt ashamed of his fear. "Is it only me," he asked himself, "or are other animals afraid of silly things too? I must find out." So he ventured out into the jungle to see what the other animals had to say. First, he came across some monkeys swinging through the trees. "Monkeys," the lion called out, "are there any silly things you are afraid of?" The monkeys stopped swinging and looked thoughtful. "We sometimes get scared of being eaten by lions like you," they said. "What about the crowing of a rooster?" asked the lion. The monkeys started to giggle. "You must be joking," they laughed. The lion sulked away in embarrassment, ending up by the river. There he came across the hippopotamus. "You are big and strong like me, hippopotamus," called the lion. "Is there anything silly you are afraid of?" The hippopotamus stopped what he was doing and stared at the lion. "I'm afraid of the crocodile's teeth," he said with a shiver. "They are pointy and sharp. I wouldn't like to be bitten by him." "What about the crowing of a rooster?" asked the lion. The hippopotamus blew a stream of bubbles out of his nose. "You must be joking," he smirked. Just then, an elephant came lumbering out of the jungle in a hurry. The elephant is very wise, thought the lion, so he decided to ask him what he thought. Leaving the hippopotamus giggling behind him, he ran to catch up with the elephant. "Can I speak to you for a moment, elephant?" he asked politely. "Not just now, lion. I have a serious problem," the elephant replied, looking worried. Then he shook his head so hard that the lion thought the elephant's ears would come off. "I have a serious problem too," the lion admitted. The elephant could see that the lion was distressed. "If you tell me your problem," elephant said, "then I'll tell you mine." So the lion lowered his voice, ashamed to say the words. "Every morning when I hear the roosters crow, I feel afraid," he whispered. "I know how you feel, lion. My fear is that if a mosquito flies into my ear, I will die. The elephant gave his head another massive shake. How silly that the mighty elephant is afraid of such a small thing like a mosquito, the lion thought to himself. Then he realized how silly his own fear was. Thank you, elephant, said the lion brightly. Now that I know I am not the only one with silly fears, I feel much better. The elephant thought about this for a minute and began to cuckle. The lion joined in, and soon the roar of their laughter was heard all around the jungle. Now, when the rooster crows in the morning, the lion is no longer afraid. It's only a sound, he tells himself. It cannot hurt me. When the elephant hears the buzzing of a mosquito, he tells himself exactly the same thing. Everyone has something they are afraid of.